I can't remember if this is number 1 or, number 2 or number 3. I think this is number 3. Let me pop on over to this. Yeah. A little random there. Sorry about that. Well, we're going to try to do this again. I'm listening to the music, and the music is a little louder than the earplugs, the earphones. So yeah, I made some good progress on my own, and I'm going to try to share some of that progress here. It's interesting. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to create the Wordle CLI project, and hopefully by the end of this I'll get this up on YouTube, on GitHub, and then you can see the building up of the project. This is the tech design. We're going to make a game that looks a lot like this. But in order to do that, we're going to build it in this, with this design. We're going to first design and implement a letter that will do the right thing. Then we're going to implement a row of those letters that will, again, do the right thing. And we're going to put it all together in a game loop that will implement this game. I'm really not sure how it's going to come out, but that's what we're going to do together. Just figure out how it's going to come together. I'll put this into the Wordle here, the chat. Now, one of the things that I've sort of come to grips with is we're going to do this in Xcode. Even though I'm not super familiar with it, but it's already proven to me helpful to have this going. So yeah, we'll get this going. Oh, let me clear this screen here. All right, I got Xcode here, and I'm going to make a new project. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm going to open a project. But first we're going to make it, and I'm going to still do the project creation on the command line. So I'm in my projects directory. I'm going to say make the Wordle. We're going to call it Wordle CLI. Actually, I'm curious if somebody's already has that project. Let's see if somebody is already smart enough to put this up there. A couple of other people have done this. I don't see anybody doing it in Swift. Very cool. play Wordle in your terminal. Basic Wordle. So some of these are old, but I like that there's going to be a lot of prior art. Maybe if I implement this, we can do a quick comparison of the different of what the code base looks like. Let's go and create this on the command line, and I've already forgotten how to do this. Oh wait, I have it in my notebook. Yeah. A little interesting there. So this is already a git. It already has a gitignore, but what I'm going to do is just make this a full-on repo, and I'm going to add all these files. I think I can do it this way. Yeah. Yeah, so you see what I'm doing here. I'm making a Git repo. We're going to get that up to GitHub, and people can follow along with this as it gets built. Yeah, maybe what I'll do is in the description of the YouTube, I can put the last commit message, something like that. Nope. I'm going to record what I use to do this. Okay, so it's up there, and now we're gonna go and put this into GitHub. And I already did this before, so this is a little bit in reverse. So let's just do this, and I'll come back on the other side. Let's see how I can do this minus the narration. That's not right. I'm going to leave these blank for now. This error is because of the convenient shortcut that I have in my SSH configuration. I'll fix that up. Okay, what I'm going to do now is talk a little bit about these files that were created in Xcode. The thing that I discovered yesterday was the fact that the test reads the output of the executable. So if we were to build this thing, now this is my computer being slow, but hopefully it won't stay slow. Let's see. Pete's sake. What's it doing? What's it doing? This is the software that I'm using to stream. So yeah, not much I can do about that. Maybe give it some more juice, but okay, so this finished, and let me turn this off because I don't think I need that. But so that's when I do hello world and I do test, it will run hello world and look at its output. That's the main thing that we discovered yesterday that I was pretty frustrated with, and I'll also show you another thing that I got pretty mad about, but more comfortable with it now. Why I understand why I saw what I was seeing. So let's first run this test. I'm still willing to do this in Xcode. There'll be a lot of complaints about it, but yeah, it's pretty clear it's due to the streaming, but I can even I think there's a way to me to crank up the like in Unix, there's a way to increase the amount of CPU that the program is taking, which I think is nice. So if I do pgrep swift, and if I do nice, so you can see here I could potentially crank up the priority of this thing. So if I do which one is which? One of these is the test. Probably this. Oh, I see. Okay. I can't pass in the PID, so I can't alter a Unix job that's already running. I think I knew that. Well, I know it now, but that doesn't that doesn't solve this problem. I'm going to interrupt it again and just tell it to start over. Oh, I could have run this. Okay, if this doesn't work, let's see how much this works. What I can do is, I think on this, I can do nice minus n minus 10, so something like that. Let's see how this does. Nope, I'm gonna in fact do that right now. Let's do that. Yep, going right for the gusto. Permission denied. Okay, I'm gonna try it this way. See if that improves it. Ooh, okay. Yeah, there's an environment variable that I'm using that it's probably not passing it through. Let's not worry about this. Right now we have this thing that's prompting me. We'll just open up the wordle-cli project. And let's see how it works with Xcode. Now, one of the things that I noticed yesterday was I was getting mad because when I was running this program, it was also executing the test. But what I now know is that when I switch over to test, it changes the button to be test. So if I click on this test, the button is now changed, and every time I press the button, it will always run the test. So it was operator error, but those are the most frustrating kinds. So let's see what this does. Oh, yeah. Getting there. We're up to 47 out of 61, whatever that is. Maybe it's steps. Just tried clicking on this to see if I could see what's happening, but no luck. Oh, that's cool. So it looks like there's 3 things happening: indexing, testing, and building. And building is taking a while. I think if I remember right, there's stuff here that I can look at, but okay, we just have to be patient. And again, this is an old computer. So it built, and now it's doing a test. Now it went down from 3 to 2. And one of the things that I noticed also is that I'm able to see the results of the test here. Now, nothing has been run yet, but let's see when the test actually finishes. Issue Navigator. Maybe here is where on this page I can run individual tests, and that's going to be helpful when we start making some tests. So hopefully another 5 or 10 minutes and we're going to be able to see this together. Okay, so that's the build has succeeded. You see the tests have run because now they are in green. And if I go here, oh, okay, so this is just a navigator. It's not the actual test output. This is the test output. I hover over it. Yeah, test navigator. And if I wanted to run this test again, I can just click on this and it will build it and then run the test. There should be some there may be some output here. Yeah. And this is the output that I was hoping to see over here if I do this test again. So the thing is, I've found a more comfortable way to run the test. The thing is, I've gotten more comfortable with doing things in Xcode and executing tests and doing builds. It's not perfect, and I'm going to complain about it plenty. At work, I spend a lot of time in VS Code. Prior to that, I spend a lot of time in Eclipse, and there's definitely power in the Xcode UI. It's got a simple, even like a simple source code viewer, repository stuff. So you can even do stuff with the repository in Xcode, but so here's the output that we're seeing from here. But there's still, I don't know, as I figure out things to call out, I'll complain about them. So we have a environment, Xcode, where we can begin the work of implementing this design. And we're only here. We have to make a letter. And I'm not gonna hide from you the fact that I have done this already. So offline, I got a lot of this code worked out, at least what I'm going to show you, so that it just makes it a little easier to demonstrate. I was thinking maybe it'd be cool if I just did a YouTube where it's just music, me coding, not doing a lot of talking, and you just seeing stuff as I work it. I was thinking about that, but I'm going to keep going, at least with Wordle CLI, in this fashion. Maybe when I do maybe some upcoming projects, I can do those in a quieter way. Maybe longer videos. Maybe I can get a bunch of royalty-free music that I can really just play for a long time. But what we're going to do is we're going to first add a file to this project. This file will contain our class. So we're going to create a new Swift file. Now in the command line, I just create an editor and open this thing. But here I'm going to use this template. I'm going to call this thing letter. Here's a complaint. What's with this template with these extra comments here? I'm going to get rid of these. I'll leave that there. And I'm going to just name this letter. And we can if I save this, we can immediately put that into our repository, which is what we should do. It's interesting. It doesn't detect that there's a new file here, but if I go here, yeah, it's a new file. I've already modified it. I'm just going to add oh, there we go. It caught up. So this is one of the complaints. One is when your computer is a little bogged down, say you're doing a live YouTube stream, Xcode is doing a lot in the background, and that's what VS Code does, and that's what Eclipse does. It's I think a function of the old computer that it's a little slow on my side. But so for example, even though I could commit stuff here or add them here, I'm going to do nearly all of the Git stuff on the command line. The other thing I like about it is that I can also see the differences here. Now I can also see the differences here. If I double click on it, I think I can see some changes. Maybe not, but you can see it's way faster on the command line. So let me commit this. And we can push this up. And this I think I saw updating. You can see that this is somewhat updating. But okay, so we have a letter class, and here we can start to use it. Now, the reason why I wanted to get into using Xcode was that I can exercise this thing, the individual components, namely the letter and the guess row. I'm thinking of renaming it letter row. I can do all of these things inside of the test. So right now there's a test here, and it's got this boilerplate stuff. I could use this, but Xcode allows you to also create tests, and I can do this I think like this. Yeah. Now, what's tricky, I'm going to say letter tests. It's a subclass of XCTestCase. Now, I should have shown this. These tests that are created by Xcode or Swift package, they are all subclasses of the XCTestCase, and we've already we briefly looked at that here. So there's plenty of documentation on XCTestCase, and I've been already playing around with some of the capabilities as I'm learning them. I'm going to make a new XCTestCase subclass. Now, what's interesting, when we did this, it's already added it to Git. That's a complaint I have. See, watch this. It's already in there. I'm going to commit this. Adds XCTest. What I didn't like that. I didn't like that it added that file into the Git repo with git add behind the scenes. I think one of the things that was frustrating yesterday, in the episode yesterday, and in general for me, is if I don't understand what I'm doing on all the steps, and I know I can play along and let a wizard run everything and be happy with the cool tools that the IDE provides, but nearly always I'm clamoring to know how it works underneath the covers, and something like that where this file is changed. This file is already added to the repository is bothersome to me. So here's some examples, but the key that I found out was that I can immediately bring in the I can bring in the letter class. So what that looks like will be something like this. Copy this thing. Just copy this thing. And test letter. That's another thing I complain about. There's something odd about the way the editor works, and a lot of it is just because I'm so used to using VI or Vim, but the way the cursor bounces around, I mean, I'm not even happy about this block here. Maybe I can change that to a solid block or something, but maybe, or an underscore. But the thing is, we have this letter class here. There's nothing in here, but what we're going to do, this is a little bit of test-driven design. My letter equal letter. That's how we're going to do that. Now watch what happens to Xcode. See, it says it can't find letter. Now, this just means that this class isn't around. If I click on this button here, oh, I thought it would maybe expand this a little bit, but you can see what it did. It basically ran a build behind the scenes. So if I do Command S to save this file, and I did a Swift test, take a look at the output of this thing. Okay, maybe it doesn't make sense to show you it. Oh, okay, here we go. It's doing it. You see this error. This error is the same error that we're seeing here. So you can see that Xcode is being a little bit of trying to anticipate what we're doing. I haven't saved the file, but yet all of a sudden it wanted to announce to me this news. It's cool, but also it's mildly intrusive, because I mean I know the file, I know the class doesn't exist because I mean I haven't written it yet. But here's Xcode basically saying, hey, you called a class that doesn't exist yet. So to some extent this is test-driven design. You start with the test first. Now I'm not an XP test-driven design TDD zealot, guru, teacher, but I like the opportunities that early testing gives for being comfortable with your code when you make changes later on. Maybe I'll have a chance to talk about that if that happens. But so basically here we're going to make a class. Now, just quickly look at this. Now, this class exists, but if I go to the test, still can't find it, and I know if I, oh wow, no, it looks good. Nah, it's not good. And I was going to say, if I were to do this, and I already, as I said, I've done this before. Yeah, it's still, even though I made the class and I saved it, it still can't find it. And why can't it do that? It can't do that because of the default accessibility of a function of a class, which, yeah, access control. So by default, internal is the default class. So we're going to change that, obviously. So let's go and do that. Now, we're going to be smart and let Xcode do it. Yeah. And then to be really sure, now we're not going to bounce back and forth between Xcode and the command line, but I find it helpful to see that it's one and the same, and I find it helpful to see it done in a way where I'm doing it step by step and I understand what things are happening. So I just want to be sure. Okay. So what I'm going to do is can't find letter in scope. So there's still one more thing to make this visible, and to do that we have to import this project in. Now it took me a while to find this, but I'm going to see if I can find the reference. Where did I do this? Oh wait, no. 1 second. Okay, I want to find you this resource because it was helpful to me. Maybe I can find it in my history. Oh, brother. This would have been yesterday. Okay, I'm going to put this into the chat. I like how it's worded. I'm just trying to run this test, but I can't execute it in my XCTestCase, and that's exactly my problem. And look at how old this thing is, 2014. It's like 9 years old. This is a 9-year-old question. this person gives 2 answers. There's no target membership in Xcode anymore for particular types, at least not that I can find. If I go here, it's just encoding and simple stuff. But then you can just import your project in, and that's what we're going to do. And that'll take us really to the end of the broadcast. Here's another thing I do like about Xcode is it does have some good it does have some good completion, autocomplete options. No, brother, but it didn't. Let me do it this way. There we go. Now, there's not going to be any more complaints about it, but now it says this: the initializer is inaccessible due to the internal protection level. And as we discussed, the method inside is also governed by these access controls: public, internal, private. So if I search for init, maybe it was in this page. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so here's that init function, but these are only accessible within the file itself. In order for this program to use it, at least that I could find, is I needed to do something like this. Now I've saved that, and I go back to the tests. I can just get rid of this. I don't need to look at that. But well, yeah. So here we are, 50 minutes later, and I've gotten a test class, which is the beginning of this. I've created it. It does absolutely nothing, but I can also access it in the test. And let's just be sure, even though we just saw that go by, let's just be sure. Yeah, look at that. It's complaining about a different error. It's just giving me a warning. Yeah, and now it's executing the test. That's cool. There's a bunch of tests here that I don't need. I'll show you that in a minute. But here, initialization of immutable value was never used. What does it say to consider? Consider replacing with assignment to underscore or removing it. But yeah, it's just saying I never used it, but we're going to use it. Let's go and save these files into Git, and then we'll call it an evening. We've added this class with a empty initializer, made everything public. I gotta maybe figure that out a little better. There's probably a better protection. We imported the module into the test class, and then we made a test function which just it calls it, and there's really nothing to assert here. I've seen some tests from the TDD people that will test that the class exists or something of that nature, but I mean, in a language like Swift, I think you can only do that when you compile, right? So anyway, so let's put all this into the put all these in. All right, we'll push that up, and I think we'll stop here. We're gonna go and fill in this letter class with these properties. We're gonna make some functions. If tonight is any indication, then that might take a while, but we got a lot of code that we can look at, and I'm gonna be a little bit ahead, maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead, so we can just go through this code and this design and see what comes of it. So thanks for checking this out, and we'll catch up with everybody next time.